In a close 13-11 vote, the City Council Caucus picked their new City Council President and Vice President. After being sworn in January 2026, Councilor John Oliver will take over as the next President of the City Council, while current Vice President David Kalis will continue as the next Vice President. Councilors-elect voiced their opinions of both nominees, some with contention towards the nominees and each other.
I do hope the next council president can lead this esteemed body of 24 members, be a role model and a pillar in the community, and effectively run our meetings in a more efficient way. And that is why I nominate my friend and colleague from Ward 1, John Oliver.
I would like to nominate David Kalis for president. I don't have a speech about what I want him to do. I just want to talk about why I think David would be a really good president. We've already seen his experience as vice president. We've seen how he gets in the middle of and bridges the divide sometimes that exists amongst the councilors from one side to another. He knows what the city's about. I have faith that he would help create fair and balanced committees and spread us all out by ward and committees that work best for us. And I have faith that he would do that. And I hope you will consider voting for him for president.
But I do have a few words. First off, thank you for the nomination. I do see the role of the council president as simultaneously simple and complex. Simple in the sense that ultimately I see that there are two things that personally I would like to see us accomplish together. And I would undertake these two things as my agenda, if you will. Should I be so lucky as to be voted in? So the simple part, I think, of the role is that over the past couple of terms, I have seen this council build stronger relationships across our community. And I don't just mean within this room or within this building. Certainly, we need strong relationships with our clerk's office. We need a strong relationship with school committee, mayor's office. If I haven't said the clerk's office, I'm going to say it again. And certainly, above all, residents and all of the groups that form across the entire city. As we all know, there are a lot of special interest groups here. I'm including all of them. I want to make sure that we are including not only special interest groups, PTOs, but everyone else that I've mentioned, because the complex part of the job, I think, is in this room. There are 24 of us. We all have somewhat strong opinions, I'm going to guess. There are 7 new opinions I'm looking forward to working with and understanding. We also have roughly 88,000 residents who expect a lot from us. And I think that it's incumbent upon us to figure out how to work together in a way that gets that done efficiently, as Councilor Lucas just mentioned, effectively. My goal is to be able to do what I can from the podium to get that done. I think that's, the sum total of what I really want to talk about, but the complex part here is we're going to have to learn how to compromise and collaborate in ways that we have been, and we need to continue to do it on a higher level. Collective opinions are, it's okay if we debate those amongst ourselves, but at the end of the day, we have to be focused on helping each other get to a resolution, and I'd like to facilitate that best I can, right? I think that we not only owe that to each other, but I know that we owe it to the residents who elected all of us. So from that perspective, I don't think anybody else would be here if we didn't see huge potential and headroom for this city. I'd like to work together to achieve it. With that said, I really appreciate your vote. I'd be honored. Thank you.
So colleagues, I'm honored and humbled to be nominated for president. If elected, I will work closely with whomever you choose as vice president so that together we can serve this council as an effective and unified team. This is a moment where I think we need a president with varied experience on the council, professional experience managing people, budgets and complex initiatives, and a leadership style grounded in listening, respect, and collaboration. And I bring that experience. As former vice chair of both finance and public facilities, I learned what it means to lead a committee, preparing for docket items, navigating unexpected challenges, and helping colleagues work towards thoughtful outcomes. As a two-time vice president, interview and select 2 city clerks, fill vacancies on boards and commissions. These experiences have given me a clear understanding of the demands of the presidency and have prepared me well to take them on. Professionally, I've managed staff and multi-million-dollar budgets in large organizations. That background gives me a strong foundation from which to partner effectively, not only with Drew Willison and the clerk's office, but also with other departments. When I think about the presidency, I think about 3 core responsibilities. First, it's making sure we run a smooth operation on the council. Making sure every council member feels heard, established processes are adhered to, and every councilor is treated with respect. This includes an active partnership with the clerk's office. And while the office is in excellent hands, the president plays an important role, and I intend to remain closely engaged to anticipate challenges and help to manage. Second, the president must build strong collaborative relationships with the school committee and the administration. I've done this as an existing vice president and between regular one-on-ones with the mayor and other meetings to ensure we're in communication. I know that we cannot act in silos. We need alignment, communication, and clarity about shared priorities. Third, the president represents this body at public events. Showing up, as our former president always said, is important. And I know the community likes to see engagement and respect for their local concerns. I'll take that with the vice president very seriously. If elected, my guiding principles will be respect, collaboration, and a commitment to strong, transparent processes. We made progress this term in how we treat one another, but we can do more. Remember, we agree on far more than and we need to build on that, acknowledge that, and then foster active listening, trust, and a culture where vigorous debate is welcome and compromise encouraged. I strongly believe that allowing space for disagreement is healthy, and understanding perspectives often can lead to constructive incorporation of overlooked views. Working with the vice president, committee assignments will be based on who is best positioned to lead. We'll ensure the committees include a diversity of viewpoints so that recommendations are balanced. Finally, we have faced process challenges this term. Times when the community felt left out and where their input wasn't fully incorporated. Our constituents are our primary stakeholders, and we owe them clarity, transparency, and trust. I want to work with the mayor's office to improve our processes so that residents feel heard and confident in our work. I'm running for president because I feel I have the experience, the temperament, and the instinct to lead collaboratively and independently. Thank you for considering me, and I ask you for your vote.
Paid attention to politics in the city for a while. I recognize it's very difficult to divine the will of the voters or the purpose of the voters, the reason why they may have elected any one of us. But occasionally that's not true, and occasionally it is clear. And I think it was clear this year when the third candidate in the Ward 4 at-large race, after they learned of statements he'd made that expressed what was largely viewed as intolerance of trans children, and that bothered enough. I'll see you later.
Wait, you gotta vote.
You gotta vote, Randy.
Randy, you
I'll
gotta
be
vote.
back for a vote. I'll
Okay,
be back for a vote.
okay,
I'm just not gonna listen to this drivel.
okay.
And the voters were very clear, I think, that was the factor in the race. And I think that we need to listen to what the voters have said, and I think it would be a mistake to elevate to the presidency one of that candidate's earliest and strongest defenders. And for that reason, I urge us not to support that candidate and instead to support David. I recognize that this is not a typical statement and that I've taken a bit of a risk here, but I think that it is an important message that we need to send to the voters, and particularly the vulnerable voters, the trans kids and their families who were really rocked by what happened this year. Thank you.
I just will say I am stunningly disappointed with the statement that I just heard. I do not believe that this was an issue that was understood clearly by the voters. It was not expressed clearly. Person about whom you were speaking.
Councilor Oliver was being criticized for who he supported. I also supported the candidate you're referring to, and I don't regret it. I think he would have been a great city councilor, and I think what happened to him was absolutely, that was bullying. And I've been told that that's going to dog him for the rest of his life. Certainly that Boston Globe article that was pulling the Boston Globe into it after he'd apologized, and it was the kind of behavior I thought we left behind a couple of years ago. And I was, some people may not remember, but on a much smaller scale, I was accused of being anti-LGBTQ and misquoted in that effort. And I thought we were done with that kind of thing. And it's the kind of thing that makes good people not want to run for. That's the kind of thing that you say one thing, and to me it was a dumb dad comment, and he learned, he apologized, and yes, there was this campaign. I called it strategically timed faux outrage right before ballots were going out and early voting, and I just want to express my disgust for that campaign against him.